Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of JForex Indicators Explained, we will be looking at one interesting formation known as Tasuki gap. This is a pattern in which there is a gap between the first two candles. It can be on the upside or on the downside, and then there is a third candle formation which tries to fill up the earlier gap formed due to the gap up or gap down opening. So we get this continuation pattern in which the market participants expect the price to continue in the prior trend in the direction in which there was a sharp gap. In that direction, the price is expected to continue after this gap is filled. So this is a continuation formation, continuation pattern, which we can reliably use to initiate the new trading positions in the instrument of our choice. You can use it in the forex segment, equity segment, commodity segment, or even other financial assets. You can utilize this formation to analyze the information pricing structure to initiate the trade in a profitable manner. Now, if we look at this Euro USD chart, this is a 5-minute candle period, and we are not really observing any Tasuki gap formation recognized on the chart. I was searching prior to the start of the session, and no luck because the underlying structure of the forex segment is such that we don't usually see many gap ups and gap downs formings on the chart. And if we look at the different class of instruments, we will find this formation mostly taking shape in the equity segment because there every day there is gap up, gap down open. Not every day, but many a times. So this formation is going to be a lot more frequent in the equity segment than in the forex segment, where we don't usually see gap down, gap up opening. Still, let's see other instruments if we can figure it out, or if we see any structure being recognized on the chart. USD no such luck. Let's reduce its time frame to 5 minutes. Now, if we consider this price formation, here also we are unable to get it. Let's try out 15 minutes. It's taking some time to load. Maybe we will have to take a look on the equity side, equity indices or particular stocks for that matter. In today's session, we are seeing weakening of the US dollar. We are seeing currencies, mainly European currencies, gaining ground. Euro USD is one such, where we are seeing these sharp moves on the upside. Now, if we have to consider the equity indices, let's try DAX. US equity indices, we have futures which trade 24 hours, so that is not going to help us much. Maybe in case of DX, we are much more likely to observe this formation. Okay, here we got one example. Let me see if I can find some other examples as well. Now in this case, there is not much of a gap, but still there is this opening which is higher compared to the prior candle's close, and then that gap is being filled in this third candle. And as expected, there is this continuation. So subsequent candle again closes with this bullish momentum. Its closing price is higher than the opening price, and that momentum continues to be bullish for considerable amount of time. So if you had initiated any long trade at these levels, you would have ended up on the profitable side, on the profit making side. So this is a formation which, as I said in my introductory remarks, a continuation pattern which we can utilize to look for the trading opportunities on the side of the trend. There is a bullish Tasuki gap pattern because we have these first two candles which are showing substantial buying momentum. The closing price is higher than the opening price for both these cases, and then the third candle is filling up the subsequent gap. It sees price dipping substantially lower, but then it reverses course and goes on to close on the higher side. And then we have another confirmation in the subsequent candle when this fourth candle also shows confirmation of the prior trend. So you can utilize this to go for the new trade entries. And if you had taken the trade prior to the formation, there is a case of additional confirmation factor, then you can expect the trend to continue on your side for foreseeable future, and you can expect to ride the trend again. In this case also, here you can notice that we have the gap of open, and then in the subsequent candle, third candle, this gap is being filled. For next couple of candles, there is not much of a movement, but still the price holds this bullish momentum. There is not much of a decline, and subsequently after this wait of over 4 to 5 candle periods, we see this sharp move on the higher side. So there is also a case of continuation of the Tasuki gap pattern. Let us look for other examples if we can find. Of course, not all the time the formation is going to give you profitable trade. That is never the case. Here again, we are encountering one such formation with this gap up and gap down. Though the volatility is quite less, but nonetheless, it is in line with with our expectations, with our requirements. And here also there is subsequently consolidation. The initial momentum holds, and then we see this sharp move on the upside. So there is one more example. I think we have gone way back to 2022, and in all these period of more than a year, we have encountered only three formations because this is not going to happen too frequently. And given this time frame of hourly, we are not going to see these too many gap ups and gap down unfolding as per the requirement of the formation. But I think if you go for the lower time frames on the stocks, you are likely to find much more examples of this formation taking shape on the chart. Let us see if we can get lucky in the forex segment. Forex, it's going to be difficult. GBP also is not throwing up any examples so far because we need to have the continuation pattern confirmation in place. Okay, here we are getting one example of bearish Tasuki gap on the lower side. In this case, there is this decline in the first candle, and then that decline is being sustained in the second candle also. We have these gap down open, and there is not much of a difference between the closing and the opening price, but the continuation of this downfall is there. And after these two candles, there is this third candle in which the gap is being filled between these prior two candles, and subsequently we are expecting the price to remain in bearish trend, and that is what we are seeing in this formation also. So if you had gone in for this trade also, you would have ended up money. So far we have seen four examples, and in all the four examples the trade would have ended up on the profitable side, but the frequency is very low. We don't really see this formation taking shape too frequently. That is one issue with this Gap up and gap down, this is not going to happen too frequently, and as a result of that, these formation which you will have to classify as a rather infrequent or rare. Of course, it is a reliable formation, but don't mistake that these four examples are going to give you too much assurance, because as is the case with any formation, there is also not going to be foolproof. You can expect this formation to work maybe most of the time, but still not all the times, and maybe sometimes you can have consecutive trades in loss, so that kind of possibility is also always there, so you have to be mindful while relying on any such formation. Now let us see what we can do in terms of editing. So we again go back to the example and let us see where it is. It seems to have hidden somewhere again. I will have to. Okay, we are getting this example. Now let us consider what we can do in terms of editing. Edit indicator, there is nothing we can do for the input. So we have input options disabled. For output, we can go for different color combinations. So those combinations are provided to us on this platform. Now we can also go for different styling combinations. Transparency factor, suppose if you feel that this is looking too prominent on the chart, you can even reduce the transparency, or you can increase the transparency, and that's how it is going to look a lot less prominent on the chart. Because I had searched it multiple times, so we are seeing these formation both in terms of bracketing as well as another style which we just edited. Now again I will revert back to this styling combination. Okay, advanced editing option, recalculate on new candle only. This is not going to make much of a difference. There is a three candle formation, and only when we get confirmation with this gap being fulfilled in the third candle with its closing, only then this will shape up on the chart. Highlight the time period zone. You can have it. Three candles will be highlighted. Calculate from the custom data that has been disabled. Show indicator on all the periods. Now here, for example, if we have it on 5 minutes and hourly, only on those two time frames it will show up. But as I said, this infrequent formation, it is not going to shape up too frequently. So that makes it much more harder to verify that configuration option. But still, if you have multiple indicators in place on different time frames, it makes sense to have some indicators enabled on particular candle period, and on other candle periods you can have other indicators, so you can gather much more data points while making a informed trading decision, informed trading choice. So that's how this system works. So that's all from my side for today's trading session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead. See you next time around. Till then,